Treva, Champagne,
and Lynn.
And we are here today to bring you our review of the book to movie adaptation of Kindred. Kindred by Octavia
Butler.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Octavia E. Butler. I don't know if there's another one.
The E.
So let's make sure we know who.
Octavia E. Butler. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lynn kind of already said it.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. There was a distracting noise and I couldn't figure out what it was, but I realize now that it's the dog sniffing at the door wanting to come in.
Okay, well.
Sorry.
The book was written in 1979, and I think she passed away in 2006 or something like that.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh.
Yeah, 2006. So she was unable to see this come into, adaptation form, but
I wonder
she did give us a great book.
I wonder if she knew it was happening.
Well, it's 2023 and she died in 2006, so I don't think it was planned then, but it could be,
Some child, one of them
18 years in the making.
Kids or somebody sold the rights. You know how that goes.
It takes years for stuff to get going, but
18?
It just depends, Sometimes it needs
to. It's not 18, but something like that. I can't math.
I mean, I've been waiting for Clan of the Cave Bears to come out. They started that like over 10 years ago.
They're waiting on me.
Stopped it.
They're waiting on me.
Oh, you gonna pay Elia?
Yes.
Anyway,
I stopped after the first book because it just was not for me.
Oh my God, I love that series. You didn't, you didn't give it a chance.
But yeah, that's.
But anyway, back to this book. What y'all think of it? I really enjoyed it.
Sorry to cut you off, but we didn't talk about the wine.
The wine. Oh, very important. We need to talk about the wine.
I'm drinking one of my favorites from Cooper's Hawk, which is not coming in the light. The Super Tuscan.
It's there.
We can see it.
No. Well, I had it next to my face and I realized the background was there, so I didn't know how to move it.
Oh, that was
I'm back now.
Blended.
So yes, that's the wine we're drinking. Sorry, Champagne, I didn't want to cut you off. But I was like, we're going to get going into this subject and totally forget the wine. But
so let me ask you, though, is that a red?
It is a full-bodied red, but it's medium on like the sweet level. So like it's not dry. It's not super sweet. It's like in the medium. So I think actually you would like it.
Okay. You don't need to.
I want to share while Lynn's sharing, but Trina said I couldn't open it. Okay.
Anyway, what were you saying, Champagne?
Sorry, Champagne.
When I was reading it, it took me a minute to get into it. I remember you guys saying that, once you get started, it's going to, flow right through it. Even though I did once I hit a certain point. But in the beginning, maybe the first couple of chapters, I'm like, okay, what is happening in this? But it was really, 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 really good. It's very interesting.
I agree with you. It was so interesting. And the entire time I was like, what would I do? Because the moment somebody was like, why ain't you acting like the other Negroes? I would have just been like, what is happening right now? And she was really calm.
And you know what? Growing up, isn't that something we always said? That couldn't have been me back then because I woulda, shoulda, woulda, dada, woulda. But you see exactly what happens if you woulda. With this, new era mindset, it had been a whole different story. And we would have been whipped every day.
I was a little kind of torn about how to feel, describing how you guys were both saying, or all three of you were saying. But for me, reading the book and it being based in the 70s, it's like, well, what status was the country at that point, segregation wise, not be able to enter the front doors of stores, going to all black schools, all white schools, things like that. So it's like, yes, it would have been hard to adjust from the 1970s to the 1840s or whatever time they went back. But wouldn't it be even more difficult now from 2023 to go back then? So something in your nose or you have a question?
Can we pause? I could come through the front door. I'm 66, and in 70, I could.
In certain places, but for example, my father,
Maryland,
not in Etchison, Maryland. Some people were bused because they couldn't go to Damascus High School. They couldn't enter the front door still in the late 70s.
There was black people in Damascus when I was in school.
My father was, and he was bused to a whole different area.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, we were bused to an all-white school. From our neighborhood.
You didn't have to tell people that. I was just saying.
Anyways, the point is, depending on where they were demographically.
Yeah, and it's crazy because whenever I said that, people are like, no way. And I'm like, yeah, no, our neighborhood, they bused us to, we were an experiment.
Yeah, they said half. They wanted to get half split up to blacks.
Mm-hmm. So we went to. That's why I went to 5 Black people in my graduating high school class. It's horrible.
That's why I was called
white girl.
Not only that, I was also deemed as Florence from the Jeffersons. Okay.
Oh, is that a compliment? Is it?
Well, depending on where they were demographically, certain people were allowed certain attributes in the 70s, certain people weren't. So that was what I was referencing. So for now, today, unless we live in, I don't know, somewhere in Mississippi where like segregation has just become illegal in like 2019, I think is what it was. Mm-hmm. Some county in Mississippi just became, or it's illegal to be segregated.
Right.
Anyways, depending on where we are, especially like here in Maryland where we're at, it's of course like it's going to be a big major change. Mm-hmm. But to think about like the people that still live every day now, wondering like where they can go, where they can't go, and how they're going to be treated.
Yeah,
that's my point.
So I agree with you because I wish they wouldn't have changed. We're not talking about the movie right now, but I wish they wouldn't have changed the time period in the movie. Mm-hmm. Because she was a little bit more passive than I think we could be right now. And I think the movie they had set in 2016? 2016. I think it was easier for me to accept a little bit of her passive behavior when my mindset was, oh, she's living in the 70s, where there's still some challenges and, some need to be passive for some people.
Yeah. I also was very surprised that like they were actually married in like the 70s. Not to say they weren't interracial relationships back then, but just for her to actually write that in the book, I was a little surprised for like that just time frame. Now it's like, yeah, whoever, everybody's marrying everybody anyway. But for like the 70s to have like a whole written novel where she marries her coworker who was white and has to travel back in time, I was like, that must be like mind blowing.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it takes too much imagination. We just had the one little boy killed. He knocked on the wrong door. Touche.
All right. So to the adaptation, I'm so torn with that series. I feel like if I would have watched that series and not read the book, I would have been so happy and pleased with it because it's a really great story. But some of the stupid changes have just pissed me off. And
some of the changes I actually liked. So I want to hear your take on it.
So, okay. The first thing I don't like is the fact that the couple's not married, because the passion that they showed in the book between him wanting her to be okay and go back with her, and then the letter writing campaign, like when he was waiting for her to return and all that, like they can probably add that to the series because the series was only a portion of the book, but it's not going to be as believable because they just met. They were like a one-night stand type thing. So there's none of this love connection. And that was so important to me in the book because, there's so many years went by and this guy was still calling and writing letters saying, is Dana back? Is Dana back? And then when he found out she was back, he traveled all the way back to find her. But it was that love that had him drawn to her and their relationship. Well, that's not existent in the series. And so the whole notion of him going back and forth with her, or I don't know if he's going to end up stuck there because they've changed that part a little bit. I don't know. I just feel like it's not going to be the same feel. And I am not at the point where I know how I feel about adding this whole adventure with the mother in the Neverland because she wasn't there in the book. But what I really, really hate is that they made her seem a little bit weaker than she was in the book. In the book, she was this really empowered woman writer. She wasn't just always like, and all of this craziness like she was in the series. She seemed a little bit stronger and sturdy and not like she was, on the verge of having to go into a psychiatric ward or that everybody around her thought she was crazy, even not knowing that she got sucked in. You know what I mean? Everybody was treating her real fragile. And I don't like that. Like, why does the woman now have to be fragile? She wasn't in the book at all.
To comment on two things that you mentioned. One, I actually like the change that they added a sidebar of like her mom, because in the book, she just wasn't there. And so this kind of gave a reason why she wasn't there. And I feel like it kind of makes you want to read the book. If you've seen the series, it's like, oh, well, the book is different. Okay, let me go read the book. So I think that puzzle piece connects the two in like a arbitrary way where I would be intrigued to want to go back and read the book because she wasn't there. And then for second of her being weak, I think it's a more of like I totally agree with you on that. Like, I think that in the book, she was definitely an empowered woman. She was smart. She was very forward with like her thinking. But I think they wanted to add a Karen aspect into the storyline, and that was with the neighbors. Mm-hmm. So the only way to make the neighbors be involved in like a community way was to make her weak, and I didn't like that part.
Yeah. So 2 things for me. I agree. The one that I totally wish they did not change was them being married. It gave a sense of urgency of them being together and the love and why it was so important for them to get back to each other. If you just meet somebody, you don't have that. Like, he didn't want to go back. And when he got back home, he was like, no, you can go ahead. Oh, I'm going to stay right here. Because that would have been me. That's a real feeling. Like, I'm not, this is too much for me for the first day. I'm done. But being as your husband or wife, like, you're gonna try so hard, and it just makes it more believable. Mm-hmm. The second thing was the Karen aspect. That was hilarious to me because it's almost like they were giving us both pieces in 2 different time periods. What happened back then is what's happening now.
Ah, nice correlation of the fact that you still have the issues with the
right. Like it's just in a different math. Yeah.
I never even thought about it like that. I actually don't mind the Karen aspect of it that they added. I just didn't like the weakness in the main character, but I never even thought about that correlation.
So I was thinking that when this continues, please, that it would, they may make it believable with them and their relationship, because just going through what they went through makes that bond. You know what I mean? It might be like, he knows what she's going through because of, her not being from there. So just him, that might make that bond bigger, and that might be how they come back around to this really close relationship with the 2 of them. Because you're right. If you didn't read the book, you're kind of lost.
But I like the series. I'm going to be waiting for season 2. I feel like we're going to have to do a second review since the series didn't quite cover the entire book.
I'm going to tell you, like, for like 2 days, I didn't want to say anything, but I was just like, I missed something.
You trust yourself.
No, and then I was like, okay, no. I kept going on and going on. I said, no, I'm on the right. Because, sometimes I'll be thinking I read the wrong movie. Watch the wrong book. And I was like, no, this was it.
Good luck with that.
But then where's the rest of it? Nobody else said anything about the ending.
I know. And when I was watching,
we agreed we weren't going to talk about anything before this. So I'll give you a heads up.
Just give me a heads up. Yeah.
That it wasn't a whole book.
Yeah.
I needed a heads up too. Because I'm looking for, how the channel skips to the next series. And I'm just like, wait, whatever.
It's like, what are we going to talk about?
I know. I was actually getting ready to text y'all and say, I don't think we could do Kindred because the last couple of episodes haven't been uploaded. Right? I'm thinking like it was going to be dropping every week.
Right.
So I have this like weird thing about me because I'm weird. But before I start a series, no matter whether I'm binging, sorry, my laundry is buzzing in the background if you can hear that. When I start a series, depending on like whether I'm watching it for a rewatch mine or even like on my regular day-to-day watching, I always look to see how many episodes there are, because if I get to that 10th and the 11th is not there, I got a problem. And it messes with me, my anxiety, and I'm like thinking about it. So it's in order to not like put myself in this bad headspace, I look ahead. So when I saw how many episodes there were and where they were in the storyline, I'm like, oh, there's going to be a season 2. I know it is.
See, I never read the storyline. You could have
shared that.
I never read the storyline.
Why would I do that?
It's going to mess me up. So I don't read the storyline, but I did see 8 seasons, but 8 episodes, but it never occurred to me that I'm just like something that I missed too. Did they do some flashing somehow? And because a lot of the movies start at the end now. A lot of the series kind of start completely at the end. And I'm like, let me go back to the first. I watched the first one, the first 2 episodes twice, just because I thought I missed something.
Well, I am excited to see what season 2 is going to bring, because there's so much more, of course, to add to the story. But
I'm actually glad with the mother thing too, like Lynn. It almost answers the question on why is this happening to her? Well, it's happening to her because it happened to her mother. You know? Like almost like genetic, I guess. But so I like that. I did like that aspect. Plus, that's what left or made the last episode such a cliffhanger, because the mother comes back. Now, one thing that irritated me, and I get why now, but at the time, it was one of the episodes when her mother poisoned her to send her back.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were such in a hurry to get back over here, why not grab on her to your daughter and come back over here then? But I get it. You wanted to make it the cliffhanger at the last.
Well, I think it was because she gave her the ring to see if it could pass back. And so since she could be passed back.
Right.
That was during the poisoning scene.
That was during
the same one? Oh, okay.
The same scene. So I think because she knew that she would end up coming back eventually. And at that time, mentality-wise, if this ring can go with her forward, I should say, then I can go. But then when I guess the time period that went by, it was like 7 years or something like that. And she had Alice, the little girl? Yeah, Alice. And so I think that was like the tester to see if she could go. Now, for me, to piggyback on that with like having her mom there and having the scene where like her mom was talking to her grandmother, actually. And they were kind of making her seem like she was kind of delusional, kind of crazy, then kind of shifty. And then the way that they were treating with Dana and acting like, you know, where she was impulsive because she sold the brownstone and moved to like LA, and how she was like her mother, and having that connection of being like your mother, but then also having that like time travel aspect. I liked that it made that connection too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I did not like her aunt at first. I hated the uncle or whatever. Uncle-in-law or whatever. Because he made it, he's the one that convinced the aunt that, oh, she's a problem child, just like your sister was a problem child.
Stay away from your family, like all that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I didn't like his character.
And with the aunt, I kind of can see both sides. Like, obviously, she's going through this crazy time of she don't know what's going on, and she's coming across crazy. And the sister, I try to put myself in the aunt's shoes, because if somebody came to me, it was like, oh my God, my mother's alive and I'm traveling. And it's just like, let's come on, meet me at the hospital. Right. Let me sign you up.
And you disappear in a closet.
And that scene was so crucial to me, because when she was like, there's no way you got out of this closet and got home, then like that time period, there's no way.
So she had to leave her.
Yeah.
I believe her.
She didn't understand it, but she was like, it's happening.
It made her think about her experiences with her sisters. Like, wait a minute, she was saying the same stuff and doing, you know.
And then the cliffhanger of the phone call being like, oh, she's been found. And I was like, see, if you would have listened to her a long time ago, you would have had that answer.
Yep.
Exactly. I was getting all mad and yelling at TV, but that's beside the point.
We yelling at the TV.
Oh, I love yelling at inanimate objects, like pens, doorknobs. It's my thing.
Maybe you need to take a ride with me to the hospital. I'm coming to get you right now.
Oh, go to Cooper's Hawk? Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Great idea.
7:43.
My ideas are always amazing. First, me and my personalities all believe that.
I would so love to go have some wine tasting, some more wine tasting right now. Okay, so what about the cast? Did you guys have any kind of feelings about the cast? Dana was not what I expected, but
agreed.
So it threw me off. I'm glad you guys reminded me that her time in the movie was set in the 70s and not Karen. I mean, no, back up. I'm getting confused. Oh, so I do have a problem then, because now I realize that they were in 2016 in the series.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when she went in to meet her aunt and uncle, her clothes threw me off completely.
And she looked
I'm like, why are you already dressing like you in the slavery? So it kind of threw me off. I didn't picture her as Dana in the book, but I didn't mind it. The only thing that bugged me was the eye bulging at every 5 seconds. She's explaining something. I'm like, I'm just talking. Just like, can you not? It was irritating me. But
so the clothes part, I took it as that because, you know, when she went back before, she was like in a nightgown, and before she was in pants, It was an issue. So I think that to me, she was getting prepared. Especially had her satchel around her too, with all like the supplies, and her clothes were like slave-like, so that if she went back, that wouldn't be an issue again.
Well, no, this was when the show, during the first episode, when she was meeting her aunt and uncle at dinner, before she even met
the dress.
They came into like the restaurant because they had something smart to say about what she had on.
Right.
Whether or not
I thought that was very fashionable. A different taste.
It looked like something.
That's what I was going to say. It could have been her taste, but I think after that she started making sure she was okay when she went back.
No, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, I just don't remember the scene, the outfit at all.
It was when she first came to tell them that she was that she had sold the brownstone, and she had on like a fluffy and a flowery little.
Oh, okay. That scene I remember, and I thought she looked a hot mess going into the restaurant.
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, I wouldn't wear it, but I like the outfit.
Then her aunt made that comment about take a shower and stuff. So I'm like, did she stink? And that's the type of stuff that was driving me crazy. Like, she didn't come across as this person that wasn't showering and didn't comb her hair and all of this stuff. So I wish they wouldn't have made her that person in the movie.
But you know what? It could have been that she actually was going back and forth before she realized it. Like, she was having dreams.
What do you mean?
She could have been going back and forth before that time frame and just imagined it was a dream. When you're living for yourself, you never know. But see, the differences in the other ones is she different weird things were happening to her because she could have been thinking she was dreaming.
I know the first time it did come across as a dream when she saw the baby or somebody standing over the baby. It did come across as a dream then too.
So that's what I'm saying. She could have been thinking.
But that's a reason not to shower, or
no. Well, but it could be that's like she may not even recognize it, or even clothes wise.
Oh yeah.
I didn't get the correlation with the shower either, so that's one with it. But okay.
No, not the shower.
I just wish
I got it now.
Not like barn.
Did you say barn?
Barn.
But she was beating the barn, so
it was one quote in the movie that is sticking with me for some reason. I can't remember who said it. Somebody said it in a movie, or maybe it may have been in a book. And it was like, you never realize how easy people can be trained to accept slavery.
Yeah, that was in the book. And I remember hearing that, and I was like, that is so real. It's sort of that syndrome. What do they call it? Stockholm syndrome? Or, you know, how you don't realize how after being in a situation for so long, you can conform to these ways. And
this is a great book in the terms of, you know, we sit here and we'll say all day in 2023, I could never live in that time. That could, like you said, it could never be me because it's so far away and it's like it would never come back. But I mean, it's
we on our way.
You know, it's so easy to accept. You know, if we're putting that.
Well, I also think that
one big beating.
I also think that for the most part, it like for that situation, you live, so it's better to live.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one thing to say I would never deal with it, but you're alive, so it's better to be alive than to keep going against the grain and then you die. You know what I mean?
Even like if you go like a different country that may be more like war stricken or something like that, you go into survivor mode. And I think that it would be the same with that. I mean, I don't know how long I survive. This is my sarcastic mindset, but at the same time, I think it's like if it's adaptation of time would be survivable.
Because of what she has now. It's like you're gonna survive because you want to get back to whatever you had before. That's what will help you survive.
I give that mouth 1 hour.
Y'all gonna be cut out so quick.
Watch out.
Then
you got the breathing hips, but your tongue can be cut out easily.
Calling her, and then she'd be like, "Lynn, get it together."
That's true. All right. Well, Champagne, you have something else to say?
But I was just going to say about the still talking about the cast with Dana's character. It's a scene. She's a great actress.
Mallory Johnson.
Yeah.
It was the scene where she got whipped. I felt that to my soul. And I've seen other shows that was whipped and was just like, okay, I get it. But this one, I don't know what it was about her face. I just feel like I would be the one like that gasping for air or whatever. She did an amazing job for me.
Especially when she got back to 2016 and she had to get in the bathtub. Like, you could feel the pain through like the TV. I was like, oh, I don't even know how you have on clothes right now.
I was cringing the whole time.
And girlfriend was grabbed everything. She had that water together, that salt for that tub, the painkillers. I mean,
yeah, I hurt for her because that was some mess.
Yeah, it was tough to watch for sure.
You know what was
a few of the characters I was thinking about the younger ones that like, how do you have that conversation? Like Rufus and Temperance and those ones who have to like use that derogatory language that, you know, they're for one to even understand language that like it's not
as actors.
Yeah, as actors. Like I was thinking about when they interviewed Leonardo DiCaprio when they were making Django, he was like, you know, it really was like a hard thing for him to grasp, even as an actor, for so many years to say those words to people that he respected and liked. And as that's an adult, let alone how kids have to do it. And they're I have to understand what the language for one is, why it's derogatory, and then to have to use it. I commend those actors and actresses.
Mm-hmm. I think it's different though for white people than Black people. I mean, I think those conversations, like we're already having them in our house now at 8. So I'm thinking the little actors probably got it.
Yeah, I was meaning Rufus as in the little white boy, and then Temperance as the one that had the cousin that came. Yeah, the other kids. I had that conversation at a very young age. I knew what it was. So for them being Black kids, I know they've already understood that. But I mean, like the white ones who don't have to have that conversation prior to this type of situation.
Yeah. What I was going to say. So, you know what scene stretched me out? Like, I was just like, I'd be damned. How about when he took, what's his name? Took Luke, you know,
what's his name?
The master.
Took Kevin to that
to the contest. And they gave that man all that alcohol. And then how long is it going to take before she caves? What? Oh, my God.
Evan's face was mortified, and I would have been also. But like the disgust, and like he did an amazing job, like being like, wait, I know I'm a little tipsy right now, but what the F am I watching?
Right.
And when it clicked to him, he was like, I can't be around this.
I'm out. And then he says to him, I didn't think you'd mind, you know, that's what you do.
Like, yeah, no, I don't rape people.
And have to like bite your tongue and not have to say anything back. It's like that scene was just, it was hard to watch. But then also like I was trying to focus on like the other actors in the background and how they were acting, because I was getting a little heated myself. So
he was like, that's too real. They doing it too naturally.
I wish they would have kept in the part when Kevin finally got back to Dana and he morphed home in the book when they were married, and how it took, because he had been gone, or she had been gone for 5 years or more, and how tough it was for them to kind of adjust, or him mainly to adjust.
Exactly. He conformed too. Right.
Yes, he did. Right. So I would have liked to have seen that. And
I'm hoping they touch on that more in season 2, like, because I think that's for one. I agree.
He didn't have a long period of time there. Right. I'm wondering if he's got to go back to have this long period of time. Well, I guess he did go back, right? Because then she grabbed him again.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I would have been hot. Oh my God.
Yeah. So I'm thinking they may touch on that.
That's what I'm thinking too, and I hope they do.
Yeah,
they better, or I'm gonna start like getting upset, because for one, it needs to be a season 2. Because last time with like Lovecraft Country, we loved that one, and he gave us 1 season, which I get it was the whole book, so they couldn't. But they better not do that to me again. So season
they gotta
2.
finish this book. They have to.
Yes, at least.
I think it was greenlit for a 2nd season already, anyway. So
no, I didn't investigate that yet.
I think I heard that too.
All right, well, y'all ready to rate this one? You ready to rate?
Yeah,
rate.
I think so.
So I'm going to give this, I'm going to give it a long day of work for the adaptation, because I liked it, but there were just some things that bothered me about it.
Okay.
Nick?
You want to add to that, Rhea, or no?
Nick?
I mean, I only didn't like the part that they didn't have them married for. I don't understand why they had to do that. Like that. That's the only thing that really, really, really dug my nerves. Why we always gotta whatever. So I guess
maybe in season 2 they'll have them like in 2016 long enough to actually get married. Maybe.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
I doubt they will, but I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. I seriously doubt it, but yeah, I'm hopeful as well.
So that was
okay. So for me, I give. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, you didn't actually say what it was. I'm cut you off. My bad.
Long day. I had today.
Always so extra rare.
Always.
I actually give it a full glass, because the things that were changed, they impacted a lot, but it didn't make me deter from giving it, like, they were not minor changes, but they were small enough that they still were able to rectify it in season 2. So I'm gonna give it a full glass for me.
Okay. I agree with Lynn. I think I'm gonna give it a full day too. The only part I didn't like, as far as the changes, were them not being married. I like the additions that they added to it to kind of give it a little bit of something. So I like the mother, and I like all that. So I give it I also give it a full day.
Well, I'm hoping that season 2 rectifies this for me, because I feel like they still have some time where they can fix some things so it all comes together for me, like if the marriage does take place. Right. Maybe after season 2 I'll give it
y'all screenwriters that if we listen to this, because there's going to be some pissed off people if they're not married in season 2.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Well, no full bottle, but we liked it. So go check it out. We'd love to hear what you say. So read the book. I want to know if you like the book. Watch the series. Lynn's got the book up on the screen. And
check it out.
Let us know. All right, y'all.
Where they following us at?
What?
Free Lunch Wine on Instagram, Facebook, every social media, and YouTube.
Join me.
TikTok, YouTube, all of it.
Blah, 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 blah.
80 plus.
80 plus. Right. 90 plus that follow us. And listen in.
Bye.